Well, hey everybody, this is Don with the vlog and many things, and with us tonight, besides the Brady Bunch, the regulars here, or Hollywood Squares, is James Michael Spahn. James, welcome to the
Hey,
show.
everybody.
For those of you who do not know Mr. Spahn has worked on IP such as Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. And James, how about you tell us a little bit more than that, what you've done?
I've been doing this since about 2014. IPs I've worked on Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, both the One Ring, first and second edition, and the 5e incarnations, Adventures in Middle Earth, and Lord of the Rings 5e. I did some work on DCC Dying Earth, X-Crawl Classics, Shadowrun Anarchy, Shadowrun Sixth World, uh, Swords and Wizardry, Complete. Really, Zorro, the role-playing game.
Is there anything you haven't worked on? I mean,
Yes.
Let's just list the stuff he hasn't worked on.
There's stuff still on the bucket list. Trust me. And most importantly, I actually wrote an adventure for the official My Little Pony Friendship is Magic role-playing game.
I was going to tell you forgot something, and I was like, maybe I wasn't paying attention.
The My Little Pony IP.
Yep. I mean, I've written on a ton of IPs. Since 2014, I've been running Barrel Rider Games, which started out doing Labyrinth Lord BX style classes, and then I kind of moved into the white box space where I got some attention, and then I put out White Star, which became kind of like the thing I got known for. That was recently purchased by Mythmere Games, so that's their property now. And I'm continuing to support White Box and kind of that's become the thing I'm known for. I just put out White Box Dungeon Adventures, which is a super slim down 40-page rule set, and my White Box quarterlies, which are to support the White Box Cyclopedia. And now I'm getting ready to go with Blades of Power.
Blades of Power. That's what we're here to talk about tonight. Now, Blades of Power, James, I'll let you kind of give the slim down, rush down version of. Tell everybody what is Blades of Power.
The first fantasy I was ever exposed to, like actual fantasy, not just straight sci-fi, was Masters of the Universe and those Saturday morning cartoons. I watched those when I was 5 years old. Masters of the Universe, Thundercats, Thundar, Pirates of Darkwater, and those before I fell in love with Tolkien or D&D, those were what made fantasy in my mind. So when I sat down to play the first version of D&D I ever played, which was BX, that's what I imagined. But BX is a very different beast. Now, I love BX. It's all my heart. There should be a red box tattoo across my back. So what Blades of Power is imagine BX was built using those sources as inspiration and not, Melamboni and Tolkien and Conan. Imagine it was built on the back of Saturday morning adventure cartoons instead. And that is in essence Blades of Power. And
it truly is. I mean, I'm having the pleasure of laying it out for you, and I'll tell you something. You nailed it. I mean, you talk about like that whole Saturday morning Thunder the Barbarian, Castle Greyhawk. I mean, that whole vibe that you're wanting to achieve, you really hit it with this.
One of the things I really wanted to do with this was I wanted you to pick up, Keep on the Borderlands and run it in Blades of Power without having to do any major rule conversions. It is a BX chassis, armor class, hit points. The 7 core classes are there. They're tweaked and they've got some name changes. Yep. But when you sit down to play a wizard, if you've played a BX Magic user, you're 99% there.
Yeah. Yeah, you got the Crusader as an example.
Mm-hmm.
What the Crusader is.
Crusader is the cleric kind of turned up to 11. Paladin in all D&D is probably my favorite class. Crusader, lawful good is lawful great. You can ask Tenkar. My denim vest literally has a giant lawful good rocker on it.
No way. You got a freaking. Hold on here. You got a denim vest with lawful good rocker on it.
It says lawful good Sons of Gygax.
Gentlemen, we have met the Apex Gamer is in our presence now.
And it's got a giant paladin patch in the middle. Glenn and Eric have both seen it in the flesh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you ever come to WizardCon, just leave it laying over the top of your chair, and I'll take care of it for you. Don't worry.
No. That thing goes to my son or daughter. They can fight for it. But what I did with the Crusader was one of the things that always bugged me is, historically speaking, the Crusader the Cleric was built on a mixture of Hammer Horror and the Knights Templar. But they couldn't use bladed weapons because it was argued that they don't shed blood. If you've ever seen anyone hit with a mace, a lot of blood.
Yeah.
So what I did was I took the idea of an actual like Templar who goes out and actively protects people traveling, and then imagine that in a Masters of the Universe style science fantasy world. So they are kind of this in Blades of Power. All Crusaders are lawful. They're very paladinish, but they still have the full cleric spell suite. But they are very dedicated to their faith and to actively pursuantly fighting evil. So I mean, if you took a paladin but he was the Mandalorian, that would be a Crusader.
Gotcha. Well, a couple things I want to real quickly point out. Across the bottom is James's current Kickstarter. You can go ahead and click on, highlight that link and do it. Go to it. Go ahead. And you're at the pre-release stage, correct?
Yes, we launch on June 2nd, which is Tuesday.
Okay. And you are already at what, 300 and what?
360. We have 360 current followers.
Sweet.
Nice.
And then in the upper left-hand corner below the vlog, you'll see a QR code. That's the easy way. If you want to use your phone, click on that. It doesn't cost anything, people, to go ahead and just follow it. Just for pre-launch, go ahead and take a look at the game because there's a lot of information within the actual Kickstarter about the game. But what I want to kind of do here tonight is something a little bit different. Is I want to kind of play musical chairs here. I'm going to put a couple of my fellow co-hosts on the spot because I want each of us to kind of ask you a question about the game, and I want to start because I'm in the upper left-hand corner. So since stop, Steve. So I guess I'll start with the first question is, what sets this game apart from other games with a similar theme?
Well, there aren't many other games with a similar theme. First of all, you don't see that. It's not a tapped subgenre within science fantasy. I think what sets it apart is its combination of approachability to anybody who's ever played D&D, pretty much any version from 5e down, and the fact that it does go after a very specific genre that many old school gamers are familiar with, love, but haven't quite seen. I mean, DCC, and I love DCC. DCC is more gonzo than I'm taking it. This is definitely more that PG-13 cartoon vibe.
Yeah, it's got a kind of tuned down vibe to it.
Yeah, but your characters, it's still BX characters, so they still, they're not invincible, but you have things like, a good example is the epic wizardry system. All of the spells from BX are going to be present. Some of them got some name tweaks to fit the genre, but mechanically they function almost identically. But the game one of the things you always saw in those types of cartoons was magic was always this like 80s neon, pink, purple, electric rock and roll thing. And I wanted to encapsulate that 80s electric neon rock and roll feel in everything in the game. So you don't have clerics, you have crusaders,
Yeah.
You have these 8 classes that are tied to a setting, which is detailed in 2 pages, that are very thematic. It's designed so that every character can have a main character moment or more than one throughout play. Yes, it's still deadly. Yes, you shouldn't do dumb things. Yes, it runs on BX procedures. But there's a few checks and balances in there to encourage players to do cool things, to take risks. And you'll come across magic items like the Techno Blade, which is very clearly a science fiction. It's not a lightsaber. It's not an energy sword at all. It's a physical sword, but it is clearly got technology. One of the magic items in the core book is literal power armor. You can get power armor as a player character on a magic item chart. You can get a flying sky cycle. It's got that blend of sci-fi and fantasy. Perfect example. In BX, we all know what a cloak of displacement is. You know, the whole Displacer Beast cloak. For Blades of Power, what I did with a good tiny example of just a cosmetic tweak that speaks to the genre. In this, it's a hologram cloak. It's just a plain displacing hologram. So there's a lot of that genre bending, genre twisting that weaves the sci-fi and fantasy together in that, wait, how does it work? It doesn't really matter how it works. It's cool. And that's that. I really wanted to push forth that rule of cool. You know, does it make you go, that was effing awesome? You know, that's what I want. If you stop and think about it, you know, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. But you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that He-Man holds his sword up no matter where he is and says his words, and nobody recognizes it's Prince Adam when they're literally the same animation cell. It doesn't matter because it's cool.
James, real quick, I don't mean to interrupt you, but we got a couple questions for you. Fugly's asking, can we easily use the game with an anime central ideology?
Absolutely, Fugly. Actually, Record of Lotus War is listed as one of the inspirations.
Ooh.
And if he knows, I know if he knows his fantasy anime, as soon as I say Record of Lotus War, he knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep. and one more thing, and I'm not trying to take over the questions, but this kind of leads into something you were talking about is, you know, when I talked about setting apart from other games with a similar theme, my point was that's just it. Your game doesn't follow a theme of another game because it is so unique. But it's that kind of common feel that I noticed with that you're doing with the BX. You know, definitely that Saturday morning cartoon vibe. But before I turn it over now to Glenn to ask the next question, my final question for you would be is this is just for people to know is now generally with role-playing games you have a player's handbook, you have a GM's guide, you have a monster manual. Tell us about this. What is unique about this in the sense of how many manuals do I got to buy in order to play your game?
One manual. One book. It's got the 7 traditional classes, you know, all tweaked to this genre, plus 7 additional classes in an appendix in the back. And the reason they're in an appendix is because location in a book implies applicability. So if you don't want to run the super high sci-fi fantasy vibe that I've got going and you just want to use it as a BX thing, you can say the stuff in the appendix doesn't matter. But if you want to look in the appendix and play a Skeletarian or a Ratling, you know, then you can do that. It's there.
Okay,
I have this cool, awesome vibe.
I have to say a disclaimer here real quick. So I am saying this at the very beginning of this before the Kickstarter goes off so people know I'm not plagiarizing or copying Mr. Spahn. You mentioned Ratling. I have Ratlings in my game, in my role-playing game. I also have Catlings. They're called, the overall race is called the Meldling. And what they are is they're a melding of different creatures. And I have Catlings, Ratlings. Those are the 2 primaries. So that's just my disclaimer. I'm not grabbing IP from Mr. Spahn. That is
Rattling has been used. Rattling has been used across so many fantasy terms. It's almost. I don't think you can trademark it at this point, so it doesn't matter.
Just want to make sure we clarify that. But Glenn,
but the book has 8 classes, probably 150 spells, 225 monsters. There's so many monsters in this book, and it's not just your dragons and your goblins. You've got literal Mars attack style Martians. You've got temporal barbarians who have traveled through time and have laser axes. You've got the Draconis Maximus, the chrome scaled time traveling laser breathing lord of all dragons and all time who flies across the neon.
You also got a monster called a Saurian.
Saurian is dinosaur people, and you can play one. They're playable. They're a monster. They're a playable character. Yeah.
So Glenn, do you have any questions or any? Glenn, to people's credit here, a lot of these guys were not exposed to your game as much as I was, so they're probably not as kind of like forward prepared for this. But Glenn, anything right now?
Spawn, my ex-lover. At least that's what you said in the books you gave me, anyway.
Buy Glenn's book.
My book. Anyway, no, I just wanted to know. It sounds like a great game. Sounds like it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. But how does it, if I want to use it as a supplement to another game, I'm using no matter what rules there are, how adaptable is that? Because I'm automatically, when you're talking, I'm thinking Hyperborea.
It's as adaptable to Hyperborea as BX would be. You can
Okay.
AC, hit points, attack bonus, all this, it's all that same matrix. So if it is a BX chassis, so you can just, and the terminology is very largely the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But it's not Hyperborea. That's a really important distinction I want to make with it.
As a GM, I could adapt it, to my use.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering, so pretty much I can understand. Okay.
Good.
Cool.
Pretty much drop it in and be fine.
Yep.
I know Hyperborea and it's awesome, and Jeff's a great dude. So.
All right, Tom, any questions?
Well, I heard all your inspiration there. I'm more of a harder sci-fi kind of guy.
No way.
Really? And and I was just thinking about Saturday morning cartoons. And did you take any inspiration from stuff like Jason of Star Command and Space Academy and then what were the two goofball guys? There was a cartoon. It was not a cartoon. It was live action. It was these two goofball guys, and they were loading the food, the lunches into the capsule, and then the fat one says lunch, and then the skinny dumb one goes launch and presses the button. So they it's like Lost in Space, but it's Laurel and Hardy. Fat one, skinny one, dumb one, and then they had a how much sci-fi do you have in this?
I would be remiss if I said there was a lot of that, because those weren't the cartoons I watched as a kid. This is about 75-25. Think Thundercats, He-Man. There's elements of it, but it's not. You are not going off on space adventures in this. It's definitely planetary, dungeon crawling, wilderness, seafaring. But it's definitely not sci-fi. It is sci-fantasy, and I would say the letter count there is accurate. 3-letter sci, 7-letter fantasy.
Well, Chris Lundgren, and I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm going to have to kind of push in some questions here. Is Chris Lundgren, and we might have actually touched this one, but Chris wants to know, what is the theme of the game?
The theme of the game, I would say, would be responsible, and what are your responsibilities and obligations to do with the powers you have that make you an exceptional person? Because player characters are by their nature exceptional, and the game presumes a heroic player character. That doesn't necessarily mean lawful good, but heroic in the sense of Han Solo is in the end heroic.
Yes,
and the game runs on the presumption that the characters will in the end do the heroic thing. And that is reflected in a lot of the ways. One of the supplemental ways that XP is earned is every class actually, instead of getting just bonus XP for high attributes, you get XP for doing stuff your class is supposed to do.
See, that's really cool about this game is you get XPs by doing. But let me ask you something before I get to Eric. How is that determined? Is that a GM or DM decision, or is that specific hardwired rules within the game?
There's hardwired rules within the game, but they are kind of open to GM interpretation. So you could the warriors get a bonus for actively choosing to enter combat against a monster. They are clearly it's clearly a challenge for them. Well, in the end, whether it's a challenge or not is truly known to the GM. Whereas other rules are a bit more codified, like knaves, which is what I call thieves. Who I would say thieves, from thief to knave, was probably the biggest mechanical change in classes from BX to swords. They get 150 XP, I forget which, every time they use one of their percentage-based abilities, because you're supposed to. This is what you do. I have seen so many games where people just sit back and do nothing. They don't do anything. So I wanted to incentivize participation for those who are mechanically driven.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, one more question then. No, matter of fact, we're gonna bump Chris Long real quick. Chris Longer wants to know: is it always a game? Oh, wait, question: is it always a game has to be built on BX to qualify as OSR or new SR? I really
Wouldn't say
don't.
so at all. As the guy who
Yeah,
wrote White Star, which was built on White Box, I don't even think it has to be built on a D20 based game. I've
yeah,
seen so many games built on the D6 system, both
yeah.
independent games and, IP based games, D6 Adventure, D6 Space, D6 Fantasy, Star Wars D6, and I would call that an old school game.
Gotcha.
I don't think it doesn't have to require a 7-point set of polyhedrals to be an OSR or NSR
Yeah,
game.
yeah. Eric, got any questions or anything?
Yeah. So, and James and I, we've talked about procedures in BX. Because that's like my deep dive on my YouTube. God forbid. So, I mean, do you include at least some of the basic BX style procedures in the rules?
I think so. I really tried to clarify that. I mean, you read the procedure. I know you've read the procedures.
Mhm.
The procedure section was an area I really wanted to clarify because in addition to this vibe and this feel, I wanted to be this a game that somebody could pick up and use as a teaching tool, and I know it's rare these days, but it could be somebody's first role playing game. But I wanted it to be a teaching tool for, like, let's say you run this with a group of 10-year-old kids who have never played an RPG before, and then they want to run it. Well, how many times did we spend years going through looking for a rule and rule books, getting it wrong for 3 years, and then figuring it out when we're 14 years old? So I really wanted to clarify the procedures within the game, and there was definitely procedural change when it came to wilderness travel, and procedural change when it came to order of actions in combat. But
Gotcha.
largely, it does stick to BX. It's D6 based group initiative. It's your classic, attack and damage rolls, all that kind of normal stuff. Dungeons are done in 10-minute turns. Combat rounds, I think they're a minute, but yeah, I mean, it keeps pretty close to BX because again, I wanted somebody to be able to drop keeping the Borderlands on the table,
Mm-hmm.
give it and run it with a bit of a science fantasy twist without
Gotcha.
having to do a whole lot of changes, or the changes would be so invisible you wouldn't notice it until later.
Gotcha. Eric, any other questions right now?
No, actually, that's pretty good. I'm actually answering. I was typing out Chris's answer to his question.
Gotcha.
But actually, I'll address it. Why BX? It's a touchstone for much of the OSR.
Oh, absolutely.
Even those of us who started with AD&D and said, "Oh, that's for babies," because it's basic. You go back and you look at it, you go, "What did I miss? I missed so
Yeah.
much in my teen years for doing that." But it's not. Listen, there's a lot of stuff that's built off of Swords and Wizardry, which is essentially White Box. So White Box D&D. So, but you building off of something like OSRIC is a bit more complicated. You generally want to go to something that's going to be like Swords and Wizardry or BX because there's less fiddly parts if you're going to build up. Take it from somebody who had to strip out. Okay, less fiddly parts, the better.
Gotcha. Steve, any questions for him?
Yeah, what kind of do you have a respawn mechanic, and if you do, what kind is it?
No. If you're dead, you're dead.
Okay.
It is but the game uses an economy of hero tokens. And
I was getting ready to ask about that.
if you're so hero tokens, they do the classic re-roll a die thing, but that's boring. So let's make it a bit more exciting. So here's how it works. At the beginning of every session, there's one hero token in the pool. Anytime somebody rolls a 1, i.e. crit, fail, fumble, whatever, you actually add a token to the pool. So you get a benefit for screwing up. Anytime somebody rolls a nat 20 or crit success, you take one out, which means you have to spend them. You have to keep, there's this rapid fire exchange rate going on. Now, being a huge fan of both DCC and halflings, if there's a halfling in the party, you add an extra one because I love my halflings. Now, you can spend a hero token to do a reroll, and that's fine, sure, whatever. But if your character is dead, if your character has just died, you can spend a hero token. You get one more round.
Yep.
You get 3 actions of the round. Everything you do gets a +4 to it. So you get this moment of blaze of glory. You can spend a hero token instead of having this system where, like, okay, if you want to do this thing with the whip, you got to roll at a -4 and the opponent's got to be over here. Spend a hero token. I do a flourish to shoot the item out of his hand or to whip the guy's weapon right before it's about to strike. You just spend the token, make your roll, do it. It's not a whole lot of math. Or you can do what's called a do or die moment. If you're down to 1 hero token and at least half the party is at 25% of their hit points or less, if everybody agrees they can spend that last hero token, everybody in the party has to agree to that. But if they do, you guys automatically go first on the next initiative, and everybody gets +4 to everything they do that round. It is that epic. The party's beaten down. They've been defeated. We rise up, and seize the moment and achieve the impossible. And I wanted to capture that in the game. Now, there is Raise Dead, because Raise Dead is present in BX, and again, the compatibility is there. Now, narratively, Skeletarians are literally people who used to be dead. So you could have a PC die. You could look at the DM and say, hey, man, what would it take for me to come back as a Skeletarian?
Mm-hmm.
And the quest master might be like, well, X, Y, and Z.
Gotcha.
Death needs to be present. It needs to be a threat, but it needs to also not be meaningless. I wanted everybody to at least have the option of being able to have those hero moments, even when they're going to die. I mean, as cool as there's no cooler death in fiction than Boromir. Like, that's just that's how every man wants to go out, right? You know it, what's coming. But you still get your badass moment. So death is still very real, very possible. Now, throughout the game, there are optional sidebars for playing highly heroic characters, which include rolling, so your attribute deviation tends to err more towards the high side, or max hit points at first level is traditional, things like that. There's a death's door rule. So there are ways to mitigate death, but there's no literal respawn. That's just no.
Mm-hmm. Now, Chris Lundgren says, which version of Swords and Wizardry? There is more than one, though. Swords and Wizardry Complete is a version I play.
Complete is the most thorough.
Yeah.
Complete is the most thorough. Absolutely.
If you're going to hack Swords and Wizardry, generally speaking, and I'm going to point at James, you're going to hack White Box, essentially because it's the least amount of core that you can build off of, or in my case, Swords and Wizardry Light, remove from. However, if you are thinking of writing your own Swords and Wizardry hack, I'm going to say Swords and Wizardry Core, because there's still an RTF out there, so you don't have to rewrite. You can just go in. It's all open game content. Matt was very generous. Go in and turn it into your own OSR hack.
Yep. Now, I want to ask a question about something. And some people probably have noticed this, and they may ask it later, but I'm going to bring it up now. This just literally in the last 36 hours has went through a name change.
Yes.
And the reason why I want to bring this up is because this, I think, shows the integrity of you, James, in the sense that to kind of give a little bit of background is there was an original name that you wanted to use. And we were going full bore for it. You and me and Shields, we were all I was laying it out and doing. And then of all things, you made a post, I believe, in Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
And someone said, well, are you aware that, what was the company again?
Chaosium.
Chaosium said, or someone said, Chaosium sent a C&D to another game company for using a similar name. And we all talked, we all brainstormed back and forth. But at the end of the day, you just said, you know what? I'm not even going to take a chance. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to pull the trigger, and we're changing the name. And you changed the name to what it is now. And what impresses me about all of this, and I think what again spells out and talks about your integrity is you didn't get arrogant and say, that's my game, damn it, and I'm going to use that name, and no one's. You went ahead, had the respect of saying, you know what, I'm not even going to give them a chance to send me a C&D. I'm going to go ahead and do the right thing here, and I'm going to change the name. And I think that's just to me a token of the character behind the game company and the game itself. And that's why people really, I think, need to support this game and you. Because
I saw Foogly asked what was the original name. The original name was going to be RetroQuest.
yes.
And I actually, the more I hear it, the more I say it. Blades of Power is much more appropriate to the vibe of the game.
Yeah.
We settled on Blades of Power because I said that sounds like a line of 80s action figure to accompany a Saturday morning cartoon.
Blades of Power, activate.
And was it you or Shields that actually finalized that? Because that was not.
We were bouncing around, the three of us, so much in chat. I can't even tell you who finalized it. It might have been Shields who did it.
I think it was Shields. I think it was.
Because we were just like going, what name? I mean, holy shit, we're close to the Kickstarter release. Oh my God. And that's when I called my cousin for you and talked to her and said, should we, and what's your advice to us? And she was like, just have them bump it a week. Give you a chance to take that deep breath and decide what you want to do. But that's the thing, though. Working with you, you're not arrogant at all. You listen. You're willing to listen to other people and take advice and take opinion, and it's legitimate with you.
I have a phrase when it comes to the games that I publish. They're not my games. I just wrote them. You're the one playing them and buying them. They're your games. I just wrote it. Do what you want with it. And I have no ego in that.
And you know what? This sounds corny here by this guy. But I'm telling you, he's legitimate when he says it. It's just not, how do I put this? It's not you just smacking dandelion fluff out there to say, see how awesome I am. This is legitimately you.
Well, and hold on. I mean, I appreciate the praise. Don't get me wrong. But let's speak to the pragmatism of this. First of all, and not to toot my own horn, I've freelanced on enough big IPs to know that my ego means precisely nothing in the face of those things. I get the privilege of playing with those toys in that sandbox for a while, but they're not my toys. Mm-hmm. And when you take that stance with anything you put out there in the creative realm, it makes it a lot easier to deal with. And secondly, let's just say, by some miracle of God, I kept the title RetroQuest. This thing did $1 million on Kickstarter, and then Chaosium decides they have a problem. Then I have a problem. So, yes, the name change went through without me consulting Chaosium, without bothering, but it also, in the end, 9 out of 10 doing the right thing prevents a lot of headaches. And I've screwed up and done the wrong thing before, and it has caused me headaches. Headaches that I am still dealing with. But in this case, it was both the right thing to do ethically and the right thing to do from a business perspective.
Yeah. But you had the foresight of making that decision on the fly. Whereas a lot of people would
Occam's razor, man.
It.
Simplest answer. Occam's razor.
Yeah.
Simplest solution. Yeah. Either I can make this one change now before, because it's been called RetroQuest by us for months, but to the public, they barely know the name for a week.
Yeah.
So that's a perspective you have to maintain. So I can either make this, in the end, very minor change, or potentially deal with serious legal problems. If Chaosium, and I don't know anybody there, I'm not speaking to them, but if they decided it was problematic, then they have every right to do what they're legally, could do. And I'm a dude in blue jeans in the middle of nowhere, Maryland. I do not have the spoons, or the cojones to deal with that fight. And it would not only would it cost me a bunch of money, in the end, people probably wouldn't get their book.
Right. So we've all seen how small time creator suing big time company, how well that goes.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that's just it. I mean, you have to look at things realistically, and like, and I just respect that. But anyone have any other questions? Anything for James?
Oh, James, how many classes are there?
Total of 14.
Okay.
Pretty good number.
So you have Crusader, Knave, Warrior, Wizard, Dwarf, Elf, Halfling, Buka,
Mm.
Fey Touched, Saurian, Skeletarian, Mystic, and Ranger.
But see, this is the weird thing. You were just asked, what are the classes? And you brought up elf. And, so you're not really doing the traditional races and classes thing.
It's BX, man. Race is class.
Yep. That's the thing, though. But that's really unique these days in RPGs.
Actually, that brings me to one point. One of the things I did change in elves, and this goes back to the changes I made in the spellcasting system. If you're a wizard and you cast a spell in this, you roll a d20, and it doesn't matter what comes up on the d20 unless it's a 1 or a 20. In a 1, you've suffered Arcane Paradox, and a good example of Arcane Paradox is if you Arcane Paradox when you cast a fireball, it goes off right at your feet. If you roll a 20, you have Arcanus Maximus. And a good example of Arcanus Maximus would be when you cast Charm Person. If an Arcanus Maximus is, the person is not only charmed by you, they are absolutely zealously, suicidally loyal to you.
Gotcha.
But only wizards do that. Only wizards. Elves don't do that because they're not dabbling in magic. It's not unstable for them. They are magic. So when elves cast spells, they cast from the same list, but they never risk that flux.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Now, Chris Lundgren also wants to know, what's the MSRP retail is going to be once it's out in the hinterlands?
That really depends on what the final page count is. That's something Don and I have to talk now. Now the plan is, I'm going to say this right off the bat. The plan is to have it available PDF on drive-through. The plan is to have a print-on-demand version on drive-through, but also to have a print version available through a different distributor as well.
Yeah.
Because I want people to have it on drive-through for international buyers, for people who don't want to deal with.
That's such an easy solution right there. Yeah, exactly.
But I will say this: this is a 300-ish page full color book.
Yeah, it is.
Drive-through takes off the top of that $47 before I make a dime.
Oof.
So that lets you know what the price point's going to be. It's going to be substantial on drive-through. It'll be much less expensive. Because that's 47 before we ever get to making profit. So you're talking, I'm not going to charge twice that. That would be stupid and miserable and horrible. But when we have the other seller selling prints, not through drive-through, which I'll get into when the Kickstarter funds, it'll be much cheaper. I can say this: the physical book on Kickstarter is going to be $50. Purchasers after Kickstarter,
but
it will be more expensive. It's not going to be like $90 or $100 or anything stupid like that. But if you get it via Kickstarter, you will be getting a discount.
But the thing is this real quick, Chris, no, it's not going to be through Alliance at all. But real quick regarding a thing to think about here. At the face of it, you may look at the price of the book and go, holy cow, that's expensive. But not really, because what James could do is say, okay, you don't want X amount of dollars for this core book that's everything you need. Fine. I'll break it up into a player's handbook, a dungeon master's guide, and a monster manual. And then you can spend more money by buying all three separately than you would buying one book, which is all three in one core book.
And in its earliest incarnation, that's what it was going to be. It was going to be 3 books. It was going to be core book, monster book, treasure book.
Yeah.
And in the end, I decided that was, to me, you're going to charge at least $40 to $50 a book for those, and that didn't feel right. I might as well just be Wizards of the Coast at that point. And plus, these days, have you seen what a 5th edition physical PHB costs? MSRP. Amazon's one thing, but like MSRP on that. Come on.
Yeah. Well,
Like, it's a joke.
but the thing is, that's just the problem in general nowadays. Is just everybody is gouging, and I call it gouging instead of going, like what you're doing. Yeah, you can break it up into 3 manuals, and overall you'll make more money. But instead of that, you're putting it into 1 manual, making a little bit less money, but it helps your gamers, your client, your customers out at the end of the day because they're getting a better value overall. Plus, you're only hauling around 1 manual instead of 3.
I saw Chris ask the size. It's going to be 8.5 by 11, standard,
Yeah.
RPG book size.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do like landscape or digest. There's too much in it for me to do digest. I prefer digest personally, but there's just too much material in it. If I broke it down into a bunch of
that'd be a
little books,
600-page book digest size. I mean,
well, I learned that when I did White Star Galaxy edition.
Yeah.
And it was 350 pages digest, and it was like, no, 47 was what they take off the top of a physical 300-page premium color hardcover.
Yeah.
Oof. Wow.
That's just the thing is, but that's just crazy, man. And then there's shipping. Do they charge you a distribution fee? Is there a separate fee?
No,
it's not. It's all
everything else. The
one.
$47 is everything. Everything else is either on the purchaser for shipping, or it's factored into that.
Man, they're just doing gamers a favor, aren't they?
I mean, I'm not here to criticize anybody, but that is the fact of the situation. It's $50.
Well,
I would have to price it at $48 to make $1 a book if I sold it only as a print-on-demand color on drive-thru.
And the nice thing about PDF.
Yeah, exactly. And the PDF is going to be on drive-thru as well. In fact, when I put out Hero's Journey First Edition, I sold it on Lulu for $49.99, and it was a 220-page digest full color. And I made $3.25 a copy.
Oof.
I made nothing on that game.
Well, what they're doing is, and this is just kind of the back end math people don't know, is they're charging you because they're doing all, they're handling the printing of it through Lightning Source, but you got to figure they're factoring in the cost of the book to print. They're doing probably back end a distribution fee, a handling fee, and then on top of that, since they have to ship it, but they're drop shipping through Lightning Source, they're charging you for the shipping.
I'm sure. I mean, and I'm not besmirching whatever they're charging. I'm not here to criticize anybody.
It's the math.
I'm just speaking to the facts.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the hardcore math.
In the end, originally when the Kickstarter was first being put together, it was going to be solely a print-on-demand product. But the math to do that, because remember, okay, so like if Chris, who keeps popping up in chat with you good questions, if Chris went to the Kickstarter and back when if it had just been print-on-demand. And I had this problem when I did the White Box Cyclopedia. Let's say he backs for a physical book, and I charge on the Kickstarter $25. All he's going to get is a coupon for an at-cost book on drive-thru. So he's going to pay me $25, then go to drive-thru and pay another $47 plus shipping, and he's going to feel screwed. And I don't want anybody to feel screwed, not the consumers, not me, nobody. So it was actually more beneficial, both in terms of profit margin and cost to customer, to print outside of the print-on-demand model.
Yeah. And there's another thing. Fugly brings up Amazon KDP do it for about half. Actually, technically, no, they won't, because the problem that you run into with Amazon KDP is their printing is just not as good a quality on the overall. Plus, James is doing premium, really high-end, high-quality print, high-quality printing. So there's a difference. I mean, you can go and get a very inexpensive, in the scheme of things, book from Amazon as an example, but you're getting what you pay for. And
Amazon designs that KDP stuff for novels, for paperback, for primarily paperback novels.
Yeah, that's their big
which
push.
Require a different level of quality than an RPG book, which, let's face it, RPG books basically double as art books.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, the premium aspect of it is, premium is not only a heavier, better quality paper, it is that combined with It's a higher density ink fill, percentage on the color ink. It's actually a different ink to boot, and then on top of that, the case binding, which is hardcover binding, is a different type of case binding that they utilize. So it's when they say premium, and you're going, holy shit, that's really expensive. You're getting premium from a lot of people who do print and bind. It's just a whole different animal. Tom?
So I have a question. It's a very specific genre of cartoons that you're referencing here, and there might be people who haven't seen those. They haven't found them on YouTube or whatever. So is there going to be a bundled adventure, and how well are you going to support this rule set with continuous adventures coming out for people to be able to buy them?
The support offered will depend on the success of the Kickstarter. I already have outlined in draft. I have outlined several adventures I would like to do. I have outlined a supplemental book I'd like to do, tentatively titled Champions of Ultimos. In the appendix, I think number 3 in the back of the book is a setting primer, and the world is called Ultimos. And the way that was designed was, again, to go back to the Saturday morning action figure feel. I thought about my locations as play sets you got as a kid. Sure, there was Snake Mountain and there was stuff around Snake Mountain, but Snake Mountain was the important thing, or Castle Grayskull, or whatever, or the G.I. Joe Fortress, whatever. So the entire setting description is two pages painted in very broad strokes. Gives you enough to get off and running and go. And I would like to flesh that out with adventure hooks and NPCs and more optional material. But it really does depend on the success of this product line. If it doesn't generate the revenue that warrants support, there just won't be. And that's just a fact of marketing. That's just how it works. If this thing runs off gangbusters, which God willing, I hope so, then I would love to write, sword stuff for the next 20 years. I love the friggin' game. It's exactly the thing I imagined when I read my first D&D book was this. When I was 8 years old looking through my first D&D book, this is what I imagined. So
I'll tell you something, just as someone who's knee deep in it, and I am literally neck deep in this game right now. And I'm not just saying this because he's sitting here. It's a really cool game. It's really well done. I mean, it is just one of the things I found. I think I said this to you then talking the other night. The big thing with me was being never exposed to this game before. While just doing the initial read through, it was I learned it very quickly. It's very easy to pick up, very easy to play and say, that's how you do this. So,
one of the things I wanted to speak to in every class description, the end of every class description in the book ends with, play this if you want to be good at X, Y, or Z. It directly tells you.
Oh, nice.
If you've never, if you have no idea what you're doing in this game or what this world is about or D&D at all, okay, I'm going to play a knave because I want to be self-reliant and not need to worry about heavy weapons or magic, and I want to be stealthy and charming. Play a Skeletarian if I want to be an absolute beat stick who never goes down. Play a Ratling if I want to be, unexpected and devious.
Yeah.
And I call that out specifically because so many gaming books, they provide flavor, they provide rules, they don't provide direction.
Yeah.
The game is not what you're doing, it's how you do it. So, you can tell people what they're doing with this game, not just how to do it.
Yeah. Well, you hit the ball rolling. So,
well, I like that if being writing the class descriptions, if you want to be able to do X and Y as a character, I think that's fabulous. Now, are you going to have like for want of a better term, an OGL or a license that so somebody else?
No, none of that. I'm sorry, it's all Creative Commons. Sorry.
Oh, it's already in Creative Commons.
It's all Creative Commons. I'm just cut right to the chase.
Okay. So anybody else who just wants to write an adventure, if they like the setting, they like the game.
Absolutely. And I wanted them to be able to do that and to go because, like I said, it's not my game. It's yours. I just wrote it. And the Creative Commons just fits that ethos perfectly. So if somebody wants to grab it and go write an adventure, set in, Alteria, the capital of the city of Ultimos, they can do it. More power to them. I hope
Well,
they
real-
do. I
well-
hope they have a blast. I hope they make $1 million.
Well, real quick, Chris Lundgren asks, how will you make it appeal to non-grognards? Many Gen Z and millennials are coming into the OSR and new SR now. How will you get them to try it?
To be honest, I think the visuals will do a lot of that because so much
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's one thing. Say what you want about 5e, the visuals in 5e popped, especially the 2014 edition. They
Mhm.
were bright and colorful, and so many OSR games are muted or earth tone, and I like that. That's Lord of the Rings all over. I'm all about that. But that's not what millennials and Gen Z gravitates towards that I've seen. Now I'm not millennial or Gen Z, so I can't say that with 100% accuracy. And I also think you're seeing a resurgence of this type of material and the interest in this. I mean, I said to my wife the other day, what year is it? 1987? Because a new He-Man movie's coming out in theaters this summer and Transformers the movie's coming back in September. Like, what
Well-
year am I living in? So I
Well,
think there's a cultural presence building, and I just happen to be writing the game that is coinciding with that wave.
well, we're getting towards your hour mark here that you have to scoot because you're little one. But let me ask you this question here, okay? What is next? Not talking this game. What is on the plate for Barrel Rider Games? Anything that you want to talk about coming down the pipe, maybe in the near future, distant future? You know, sneak
Let's see.
peek?
There'll be soon. We'll be dropping White Box Quarterly 3, which will
Nice.
focus on Wilderness.
Yeah.
White Box Quarterly 4 is looking to focus on undead, but not in the way you think. It's not just another necromancer class and a bunch of new undead. It'll be something new and interesting. As far as other stuff in the future, I really, really, really hope this does well because I really want to do Champions of Ultimos. I think that'll be a fun companion to this book, and I want to stuff it to the gills with options and adventures and setting material. Oh man, I really want to do that. Let's see. There is The Road Home, which is a
Oh,
how do I put it? It is Grimm's Fairy Tale meets the Goonies.
yes.
It is a role-playing game where you play. Your PCs are between 10 and 13 years old, and you are
Yep.
sneaking out of the village
It
to go
is
on
so
adventures.
cool.
I'm really proud of that one, particularly because it's got the most depressing mechanic I've ever written in my life. When I wrote the game, I didn't want to have a game where children die because that's just bad. And what I ended up doing was when they suffer certain consequences, they gain despair. And if they gain enough despair, they just give up and stop being kids and dreaming and hoping and lose all sense of wonder, which is far more depressing than death.
But the thing is, it's a really cool workaround to dying.
I've got The Road Home. The Hero's Journey 3rd edition is drafted. I have all the art for it. I just need to get that out the door. I've got The Road Home uses the same system as another game I published called The Devil's Due, and The Devil's Due is gothic horror, and it's on drive-through now, and physicals are on Lulu. But it uses that same engine for The Road Home. There's a third game in that series. I call that system the Trinity system because it uses 3 attributes. There's a third game in that system which is called Hyperstar, which is high-octane pulp sci-fi. I think that might be more up Tom's alley because that is straight-up sci-fi, and you've got, it's got the Cosmic Cavaliers and fighting against the evil Black Legates and the military sci-fi, Concordant Command, and it's all of that over the top Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers, 70s Marvel Star Wars comic ridiculousness that I just really love. Man, I mean, I'm sure there's something I'm forgetting. There's a game I've been tweaking with for years called Dream Keepers, which is about playing literal garden gnomes who live in the garden at a house and are secretly trying to restore the dreams of the people who live there. The divorced mom with 3 kids is moving and everybody's depressed. So you play these garden gnomes trying to go around helping them find their joy again. There's so much stuff that I have going on that I couldn't tell you what comes next, but I can tell you I've got a couple of years of what comes next.
I take it there's a few folders of your computer that are kind of full.
You have no idea. No idea.
If you're anything like Steve Lake and me and our writing folders, right, Steve?
Okay, you got me excited about this game, and I haven't even looked at it. The reason I keep bringing, my go-to is, like I said, Hyperborea for AD&D, but this thing slots in so well with that pulp fantasy that I can just drop it in there and go with
one of the big inspirations for it. My first exposure to Conan the Barbarian wasn't the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. It was the cartoon Conan the Adventurer.
Oh,
so
really?
That's
a blast from the past.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the listed inspirations. I loved that cartoon. I was late for the bus because I would finish episodes of that cartoon while the bus is sitting outside waiting to pick me up. So I mean, yeah, it's definitely got that. Definitely got Conan-esque elements. I mean, Don, you've seen the art for the warrior. It's
Yeah.
Now, so just to kind of cap this off, let's understand this right. Your Kickstarter right now is in the links are in the chat, and basically that Kickstarter is going live June
2nd.
Tuesday. Yes. So Tuesday, what time does it kick off? Any specific time?
I'm still hemming and hawing between 10 a.m. and 12 noon Eastern.
Gotcha.
So sometime in there, but when I put it out there, I'm going to scream it to the hills.
So basically, when you're going for lunch, you're definitely going to be able to probably basically go ahead and support the Kickstarter. So, so basically, James, thank you very much for coming on. I can see what's happening. Thank you very much for coming on tonight. Support the Kickstarter. We'll be posting it all over the place. We're going to put it on the Vlog Many Things thing, and we'll be sharing it. James, thank you for coming on tonight, my friend.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
Nice meeting you, James.
You are very welcome.
See you later, James.
James, good night.
Nice seeing you again.
Yep.
Adios.
And all right, adios, James. And basically,
kick him out.
Yep, we're gonna kick him out here. All right, so let's go.
No, don't yet. Are we still live?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good. Did you see anything in the background, or did you just see me waving my hand?
Just see you wave your hand.
Okay, I'm good. I can hang for a little bit if you need that.
Oh, cool, awesome. Let's hang then.
Eric
has to go. He's got the speakeasy. So Eric, thank you for coming on tonight.
James, I'll talk to you later. Don,
I'll probably stop in if I can at the speakeasy.
Yeah. All right. Oh, Glenn, you go contact your favorite friend out in Long Island. He was trying to contact you.
Oh, I already got talked to him last night.
All right, good enough.
Thanks.
Good deal, Eric. Thanks a lot.
Always.
Yep.
He was worried about me.
So James, besides just the general gaming and everything, what else are you up to besides just you doing any writing, anything for anybody else? Do anything on the side or?
I don't have any active freelance gigs right now. I stay very, very busy. I'm a full-time stay-at-home. Like, this is my job.
Yeah.
This is my job.
Yeah.
My wife is also a stay-at-home mom. We're raising 2 profoundly autistic children who are nonverbal. So they keep us very, very busy. But, by the grace of God, I have been given this opportunity to be able to write from home for a living.
Yeah.
So I can be fully there for my children. So, and the thing is even when I have freelance gigs going, I'm always tooling on something. It's weird. If I'm not working on a project, I get angry. I get mean. my brain is always going.
You're sitting there. You're just kind of jiffing for it. You know what I mean? You got to go ahead and get that gaming. I get it. So,
and like I said, all those projects I mentioned, they're all in some stage of development. Some of them are completely drafted and need art. Some of them are completely drafted, have art and need layout. Some of them are still in draft.
It's kind of funny you mentioned the one about the gnomes and such, and they're trying to, find, the happiness and all that. I actually wrote a book called The Fairies of Curtis Road, where basically 2 little girls try to help the fairies in the woods find the key to their happiness. And I actually, based on my 2 youngest daughters, was in it. So it's pretty, just kind of unique, kind of like how things can kind of just vibe in.
I saw Chris dropped a question in the chat. I do play video games, but I actually have to stop myself because I will obsessively play them to the point where I won't work. Like, it became a problem when I realized I logged almost 200 hours in Stardew Valley in 2 weeks. And I play board games when I can.
Nice.
But that's few and far between. I very rarely. I don't mean this to sound dramatic, but it is difficult to express the level of commitment required with the nature of what my children need from me. I usually write from about midnight to 3 a.m, and then I'm back up at 7 at the latest.
Yeah, you're a trooper,
I've been
man.
up since, I've been up since 3:30 this morning. 3:30 Eastern.
You are an absolute flipping trooper on your lifestyle and your dedication.
That being said, I'm literally doing the thing I dreamed of doing since I was 8 years old for a living.
Congratulations.
Like, holy crap, how amazing is that? I wish I could look at 14-year-old me and tell me what 40-year-old me is going to be doing. Wouldn't have believed it. So this is not a woe is me. This is just, that's the reality of it. But on the other side, there's many, 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 many good things.
Yeah.
So many good things. And my children are amazing. It allows me, I feel like it allows me to be closer to my children than I otherwise would be. Simply by the nature of what they need. Because I am a very selfish person. I love talking about me and my stuff. But that's not what it's about. It's about.
I think that though that is the characteristic of probably a lot of people in this video right now. Just as the nature of what we do, we like to be in the forefront. We want to go ahead and create, and we create because we want people to say, "Look at what we've done." And it's not being arrogant; it's just a sad fact.
Well, I always describe artists, whether they're painters or game designers or video gamers, we're all Ming vases. We want to be on the center of display, noticed, admired, told we're pretty, but we break very easily.
That's pretty good. I like that.
That's actually a really good analogy.
James,
sir?
I don't know if you're on Facebook or anything like that, but could you possibly send me your mailing address? Because I would like to send you a copy of my book.
Oh, very, very cool. I would like that very much.
Well, I owe it to you. You gave me a couple of books when you were at the con last time of yours.
You don't owe me anything.
Oh, come on. I just want, it's friendship stuff, okay?
Absolutely. You don't owe me anything.
When the Fat Orc Sings, it's actually a really cool book. Really cool book. And Glenn is in the process of writing book 2 for it. Correct, Glenn?
I'm giving it a shot, yes. I wrote this book 12 years ago, and now I'm doing the second one now.
Yep.
Anyway.
So don't take 12 years.
Yeah, don't take 12 years.
I'm trying not to. I really am.
But
this cancer thing kind of took me off my feet.
Oh, well, we'll cut you some slack.
Yeah, a little bit. So we know.
I feel you, Glenn. Last year in July, late July, I very suddenly and unexpectedly had a heart attack and required a quintuple bypass with no notice.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah. That was Widowmaker, 98% fatality rate.
Well, if it hadn't been for Becky, she sent me the ER, and all of a sudden they found cancer in my brain.
That's what I heard. And she figured it out because your movie trivia was off, which is so on brand for you.
Yep. I know, it was weird. And she said, "Now, of course, I know something's wrong now." Okay,
right?
But yeah, I'm doing chemo just like Don here. I'm doing okay.
So we got James's projects, we got Glenn's project. Tom, you got any projects you got rolling up? Anything happening?
I'm working on a Star Frontiers book, but it'll be filing some serial numbers off so that it's not Star Frontiers.
Now, is this a book, like a novel story, or is this an RPG?
Well, I have some of that going on too. No, I'm actually dumping all of the fan magazines from the Star Frontiersman and Frontier Explorer all into one Google notebook, and then using the AI to pull all the creatures out of it and create a monster manual.
Gotcha. Steve, real quick, anything you got working on? Your audio's off, Steve.
And buy his books too.
Yeah, I'm working on Magefall 2 right now. I got a good couple months more of work to do on that. And James, if you like RPG or online RPGs like Warcraft and stuff like that, Magefall is a parody of that. So it's a parody of online MMO gaming.
I played Lord of the Rings online religiously for 7 years, 3 to 4 hours a day. So, like, it's funny. I actually quit playing Lotro when I got my first gig writing on the One Ring. I was like, well, I guess I got to stop playing Lord of the Rings to write Lord of the Rings. So yes, that's right up my alley.
Well, yeah, you can go over to Royal Road or Scribble Hub and look up Magefall, and you'll just love it. It's a real good laugh.
It sounds great.
Glenn has a question. Glenn, Chris Lundgren wants to know, what is your favorite classic movie of all time?
Oh, that kills me. It's very hard, but I'd have to pick Chinatown.
Chinatown.
I love my detective stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Don? What's your favorite classic movie of all time?
Yeah.
Oh man, my favorite classic movie of all time. See, that depends on what you call classics.
It's not what I call classic. It's what you call classic.
Yeah. You know what? I'll tell you something. It's a war movie. I really like The Bridge Too Far.
Really?
Ooh, that one was actually a pretty good movie.
I saw when it came out. I didn't care for it. I was more of a Kelly's Heroes kind of guy.
Yeah, Kelly's Heroes with what's his name? Clint Eastwood and such. You know, Donald Sutherland. I loved that movie, but I really enjoyed A Bridge Too Far. And then as you're getting newer movies, probably in the last 10 or 15 years, I'll tell you something. Cloud Atlas. I read the book and I didn't think they'll pull the movie off. And when I watched the movie, my mind was blown. I mean, they just kind of like really follow the movie. But I like that kind of like movie that jumps around, that makes you think, that like, what was that they just did type thing. So, James, what's your favorite, since we're talking about favorite? What's your favorite movie? Classic movie or
favorite movie or my favorite classic movie?
Let's just say favorite movie.
Yes, go ahead.
I mean, it's obvious to the point of being self-parody, but my favorite films of all time are Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
It's really on brand. But my favorite classic film of all time, as cheesy as people will say it is, it's true, is It's a Wonderful Life.
No.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one, too.
Yep. Tom, your favorite movie? Favorite classic movie?
My favorite classic movie, hands down, is Casablanca. I love the writing. I love Bogart when he's giving those quick one-liners, just quick with the dialogue, and I just love that movie. It's so well written, and they made it for $10,000, which is just like holy shit.
What's your favorite movie though?
Oh, my favorite movie, jeez, Wrath of Khan.
Oh,
yeah, definitely Wrath of Khan.
That's like the best Star Trek movie, period.
And if I had to pick a favorite war movie, I would say Letters from Iwo Jima.
That was a good one.
Kick ass. Band of Brothers is a good series, but it's not a movie.
Let me bring up my favorite war movie because this is hilarious.
What's that?
The day before I shipped out with the United States Navy, I went to the theater and I saw Saving Private Ryan. That was amazing.
Yep. Steve, what's your favorite classic movie? Then what's your favorite movie?
Classic movie. This might sound corny, but Mary Poppins for the classic one.
Hey, everyone's got their own taste.
Mary Poppins is awesome.
By the way,
and I would say Wrath of Khan for the more modern one. Although here's an interesting one. You were talking about the going out to the Navy and you watched Saving Private Ryan. When I was in basic training, they gave us the weekend off, and it was Terminator 2 that was in the theaters, and it was hilarious because we're going through the whole movie. Best movie I've ever been in because it was nothing but privates that were in basic training, and we're over there quoting like aim, center, mass, and all these just army terms, and it was hilarious.
That Wrath of Khan is all right, but to me, the best Star Trek movie is this.
That's the best Star Trek movie ever made.
Actually, Star Trek movie ever made. Galaxy Quest 2 is coming soon.
Oh, really?
I don't want that. I don't want that.
Rickman,
Tell me Sigourney Weaver's going to be in Galaxy Quest, please.
Well, no, she's getting a bigger role, like in taking more command and
Star Wars. She's actually in the Star Wars movies now.
Yeah, she was in the Mandalorian and Grogu one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, my favorite Mary Poppins is not my favorite movie, but my favorite Mary Poppins reference is Guardians of the Galaxy when he's like, "You look like Mary Poppins," and he's like, "Is he cool?" And then he says, "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all."
I love that.
Well, I'll tell you
I
something.
just love that.
There's a lot of really cool movies out there, but gentlemen, it is 9:15.
Mm-hmm.
We should be wrapping this up now. I've got to get a graphic to a writer for her book, and I have to have a discussion on getting some books to a gentleman in time for North Texas. So, James, thank you very, very much.
Thanks.
Thanks for having me, man. It's been a blast.
It was awesome having you on the show. We got to have you on again when we have more time. Just kind of like, we'll just call it like just the chat night. And we'll see, this is what we do, the vlog of many things. Here we are, we're ending the show with what's your favorite classic movie and movies.
That's how good conversations go. They just meander. They just go where they go.
Trust me, we do things very expertly.
I've watched many episodes.
Really?
No, we get off topic. No way.
Oh, yeah. The last episode I watched, I walked in and I went, what the hell? I literally said in the chat, what the hell did I walk into?
Yeah. Welcome to the vlog, man.
Yay.
But again, thank you very much, James.
Thanks for having me,
It's a
guys.
pleasure having you. Seriously. Glenn, Tom,
Yeah.
Steve, Eric,
Right,
if you're out
folks.
somewhere in the Netherlands. So, gentlemen, everyone in chat, Chris, Fugly, everybody else, thank you for tuning in. And we'll be back next week. Next Thursday, we are having Peter Atkinson on the show.
Oh boy.
Yes, from for those of you who don't know, Peter Atkinson is the gentleman who. Anyone? What he's the founder of? What did Peter Atkinson found? What company?
Paizo.
No.
Oh,
Hey, I got an excuse, brain surgery.
I'm drawing a blank.
What is the company that everybody likes to hate on?
Oh,
We founded Wizards, duh!
Bingo.
He founded
And-
Wizards.
Yep, and on top of that, he is the man behind Gen Con. So he's going to be on next week. We're going to be talking about Gen Con. We're going to be talking about his early days of gaming and what he created. We're going to talk about his new project, which is basically kind of like a combination of a tabletop war game mixed with a phone app and computer game with live action actors. It's just a cool project all the way around. And that's going to be principal filming starts in August on that. So he's going to be on next week. We'll be talking about that. So everybody, thanks for tuning in tonight. And we will catch you guys later.
Buy my book.
Good night, everybody. Buy Glenn's book. And Steve's.
Buy Steve's books.
And support James Michael Spahn's Kickstarter. Link is in the chat.
It's a power synthesis role.